This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You're watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Hello, and hope you're all having a great weekend. And before you finish watching this video, make sure you touch that subscribe button, give it a little tickle, make sure it goes from red to subscribed. Now, Anthony Joshua, in this article, which I'll put in the description box as always, so go have a read for it yourself once this video is finished, of course. Joshua talks about how he would have massive regrets if he never fought Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury before his career finished. And he also says that he doesn't believe that a fight between himself and Wilder will happen next. And I'll get straight into his statement and then we'll have a little bit of a chat about it. So Anthony Joshua's statement. Yes, massive regret if I didn't fight Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder. If the fights happened, then I'll be able to finish boxing with a smile on my face. I'll be happy to fight Wilder, Fury, Luis Ortiz, then I've done Vladimir Klitschko, Alexander Povetkin, Joseph Parker, and I can add Wilder and Fury to that mix. Wilder said he wanted to fight me for so long. So now, unless he does, I'm going to be looking at his PR campaign to build his name off my back. If you are a representative of Pepsi and I'm a representative of Coke, I'm going to say anything negative about Pepsi to boost my profile. And that's what it is that he's doing. I don't think that he will fight me next because I'm hearing Luis Ortiz turn down our offer because he has something in the pipeline to fight Wilder. Listen, I'm an honest guy. If I didn't want to fight Wilder, then I would say I'm not ready to fight Wilder yet. A win over Andy Ruiz, this leaves the road wide open to go down the road to Undisputed. I can't afford to leave anything to chance. I like Ruiz. He's a good fighter. But this fight leads to the road for Undisputed. I haven't got anywhere else to go after this fight. And, of course, I predict that I will win. Anthony Joshua statement. So, okay, so a few things there. I mean, a fight between Joshua versus Wilder, Undisputed. Joshua versus Tyson Fury. Obviously, potentially could be for an Undisputed and also for Lineal, Ring Magazine, all that kind of good stuff. Because as we do know right now, and for those of you who don't know, you probably know about the Ring Magazine. Okay, it looks like the Rocky Balboa belt. And that fight, so if Wilder versus Anthony Joshua fought, it will be for Undisputed, but the Ring Magazine currently would not be on the line because the Ring Magazine have created their rules, or maybe the rules have always been there, that it can only be number 1 versus number 2. But in the Ring Magazine's rankings, number 1 is Joshua, number 2 is Tyson Fury, then number 3 is Wilder. So even if Joshua was to fight Wilder, become Undisputed, he still won't have the Ring Magazine on the line, and which means that that would lead into a fight with then say Tyson Fury, where the Ring Magazine would be on the line, and for all fighters concerned, that title is pretty important. So either way, a fight with those two is exactly what he wants. So I'm guessing pretty much what he's saying here is because he's already got the names of Vladimir Klitschko on there, he's got the names of Alexander Povetkin, Joseph Parker, etc. If he could put Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder on his resume as well, obviously with the win column, then there's not too much more he could really do. In other words, he's happy with how his career goes. Anything else after that is just a bonus. Obviously, I'm not predicting that he defeats Wilder, defeats Fury, then he retires, not at all. There's always going to be somebody, there's always prospects coming through. Look at Daniel Dubois, Nathan Gorman, Joe Joyce potentially, Herkovich, rematch with Dillian White, so. So there's always going to be fights for him. But as you said here, him beating Andy Ruiz, what else is there really for him to do? As we know, it could be Alexander Usyk as the mandatory for the WBO. It could be Kubrat Pulev, who's the mandatory for the IBF. So these will probably be his only two options outside of Undisputed against Wilder. But if Wilder is going to be fighting Luis Ortiz, then obviously that's two names that he can't have. He can't have Luis Ortiz and he can't have Wilder. So what else does he do? So he's saying that if I defeat Andy Ruiz, let's get this Undisputed fight on. I want this fight, much like he's been saying for, the last year or so. Let's just get this fight done. No more excuses. Don't want to talk about money or anything like that. Let's just get the damn fight done. But obviously, you need to be reasonable in your demands. If you price yourself out, that shows you don't really want the fight. And for me and a lot of you guys, there's no reason why this fight shouldn't happen. I think a lot of it is down to ego, in my opinion. I don't think either side want to be considered the B side in in this equation. In reality, Joshua is the A side, but is he going to concede enough to allow Wilder to at least get equal A side status? In addition to that, is Joshua going to have to give him 50-50, and is he going to have to fight Wilder in America as well for the first fight? But all these things will be ironed out. In the video that I did, the last video, which I put up last night, if you haven't watched it, go give it a watch. Shelley Finkel says that an announcement will be made within the next 2 weeks or so for Wilder versus Joshua, Wilder versus Tyson Fury, because he's talking to Bob Arum of Top Rank, and he's talking to John Skipper of DAZN. So everything's looking pretty good, and fully expects good news for UK fans, as he put it. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But first things first, Joshua does have to get past Andy Ruiz. Now, a fight for Undisputed. Listen, there's no reason in the world why this fight can't happen. To be honest, I don't know what more Joshua or Eddie Hearn or anybody can say. For a long time, as Joshua was saying, has Wilder just been using his name as a PR campaign to build up his profile? If it has, then it's worked, hasn't it? But ultimately, what good is that? Because you've got more eyes on you. That means more eyes to scrutinize you, to say, well, why aren't you fighting this? Because for a long time, you said that you wanted this fight. When you're given the opportunities, there all seems to be an excuse why the fight isn't happening. So people are becoming more and more aware of it. But as Shelley Finkel said yesterday in my latest video, then it's a case of hopefully these guys just get it on. Nobody wants to be seeing Wilder versus Luis Ortiz anymore. Nobody does. We've seen that fight less than a year ago, or a year ago, I should say, where there were a lot of people saying, well, Joshua versus Dillian Whyte, why do we need to see that? When that fight was, 3 years ago? But the thing is, with that one, well, actually 4 years ago, actually. But with that one, Dillian Whyte has improved a hell of a lot and has stacked out his resume. So that is a more exciting fight. But with Luis Ortiz, he hasn't done anything since he lost to Wilder. Yes, it was a hit and miss fight, of course, like both of them were having their successes, but ultimately, regardless of the help of the referee or the medical team, no matter what people believe or whatever, fact is the result ended in a knockout win for Wilder. Luis Ortiz has fought, 3 gatekeepers or 3 journeymen, depending on how you look at Christian Hammer, how you look at Travis Kaufman and Razvan Kajanu. And then he gets a world title shot again against Wilder straight away. In-house PBC politics, that's all it is. When in reality, if it's not going to be Joshua, it should be Dillian Whyte. We all know that, but will that fight happen? Probably unlikely, but of course we're still waiting on the WBC to decide whether Dillian Whyte versus Oscar Ribas will be a final eliminator for the mandatory position to fight Wilder next. Will they do that? Probably not, because that means that they'll probably upset the plans of Al Heyman. They don't want to do that now, do they? But I think, again, as Joshua was saying, Joshua's always been very, very open and honest with things. And whereas one time he was saying, I'm not really bothered if a fight happens with Wilder right now or not, because obviously I'm still building, I'm still learning. I mean, even right now, he's only had 22 fights. Wilder's had 42 fights. So there's a 20-fight difference between them. And Wilder's only just ready now, but Joshua's expected to be ready now. So Joshua, when he had, 17, 18 fights, he was saying that, if the fight happens with Wilder, me personally, of course I'll take it. But if my team said, no, not yet, you're not ready, then I won't. And so that was him being honest. He also was very, very honest when he said about potentially, and I fully expect that one day I'll lose. But I'm curious as to how fans will react to me losing and how I bounce back. The Wilder fans went in on Anthony Joshua. Champions should never talk that way. See, he's scared, he's a coward. No champion should ever say how they're going to lose. Wilder said it about a week ago. Radio silence. They didn't say anything, did they? So they don't hold the same standards. But for me, I think that this fight needs to happen. Win, lose or draw. Listen, of course, I want Joshua to beat Wilder. Wilder fans or Americans, whatever, will want Wilder to win. Ultimately, if one of them loses, did it really affect our life? No. We just want to see the fight. And this is why I've always been saying, we just want the fight. It's all very well building up the fight. It's all very well, but I think we've built it up long enough now. I think there's been a lot of arguments online between fans, and I'm chastising Wilder, and then his fans then come out and chastise Joshua, and we're going backwards and forwards, not just me, but various YouTube channels and online on social media. I think the fight has been built long enough now. Listen, if it continues and continues and continues, listen, of course, we are going to prosper from the longer the fight takes, the more that we're going to prosper for it, right? But ultimately, I just want the fight. And you guys just want the fight too. No more messing about, no more excuses. Don't want to see Wilder versus Ortiz again. Don't want to see Joshua going up against Kubrat Pulev. I'm just being honest, but I don't. But if we have no options, then what are we going to do? Of course, we're still going to watch the fights, of course. But hopefully, nobody slips up. Because we want undisputed between Wilder and Joshua. We want both of these guys to be undefeated, which makes that fight more exciting. If one of these guys take a loss, then have to go get a rematch and get the belts back and then do undisputed, I think the shine has taken off a bit. And there's no guarantees Joshua's going to beat Andy Ruiz. We've seen Joshua, he did struggle for the first, 2 or 3 rounds against Povetkin because of Povetkin's size, the fact that, he'd get in on the inside, the way that he'd throw those hooks, and sometimes his foot movement and his hand speed was quite fast. Andy Ruiz is a faster version of Povetkin. He doesn't hit as hard, but he's a faster version. So Joshua could be in trouble in this one. Could be. But of course, Joshua's going to be the favourite. And hopefully he didn't go in there to try and put on a show, because a lot of people are saying, why are you fighting Andy Ruiz? Because people don't know who Andy Ruiz is. Andy Ruiz is a very, very dangerous opponent for Joshua. Very, very dangerous. Because Joshua likes taller opponents. Why? Because he can find the range and land on them much easier. We've seen it time and time again. Smaller fighters, he does struggle with at times. He always gets to win so far, but anyway, that fight will break down a bit more next week. But for right now, Anthony Joshua wants undisputed. Wilder, there's no excuse. Hopefully Shady Finkel is telling the truth, what he said yesterday. In the next couple of weeks, they will have some kind of deal in place, so we actually find out when this fight's going to happen. Anyway, you drop your thoughts below about it all. Click thumbs up and, of course, subscribe. Catch you all on the next one.